What's up everybody, Venom here with a quick guide on Diablo 4. Let's get right into it. Season 1 of Diablo 4 has finally fallen upon us, and with it comes a few new items and Malignant Hearts. These hearts and all of the different preliminary things that go into collecting the caged hearts can be a little bit confusing. So today we are going to cover how to farm Malignant Hearts in order to farm the caged hearts that you're gonna need to socket into your gear. There are a total of 32 new Malignant Powers for you to discover, which will enhance your character's overall power. All of these Malignant Powers are passive attributes that are added to your gear once the caged heart has been socketed into an infested socket. They're kind of like gems, except the biggest caveat is the fact that some of them are class specific, and you can only socket specific colors into specific colored infested sockets. So what do I mean by that? There are 3 different colored sockets total. There will be blue, which is a devious, a pink or purplish color, which is brutal, and orange, which is the vicious. You can only place a certain color caged heart into that certain color's infested socket. So for example, the devious sockets are blue and or purplish colored, right? So the only caged hearts that you can place into them are going to be the devious blue colored and or purple colored caged hearts. Hopefully that makes sense. There is only one type of heart that completely negates this rule, and that is the Wrathful Heart. Those are the most rare and most difficult hearts to find, but those can be placed in any of the sockets. So it doesn't matter what color the socket is, Wrathful Hearts can be placed in any colored infested socket. Now, how exactly do you unlock the ability to collect these Malignant Hearts in order to collect caged hearts? Well, when you first log into the new season and you choose to make a seasonal character, you're gonna spawn right into Kiavashad, and Kiavashad is going to be the hub to begin the quest line where you will meet Cormond. And Cormond is gonna have this little tiny quest line that brings you through how to collect the hearts, and he's going to give you the ability to collect these hearts on your own by using the Cage of Binding ritual, which will harness the Malignant Heart's power within these new tunnels that you're gonna come across. The Malignant Tunnels are basically dungeons, and you can see them on your map. They will be marked on your map. They have the same icon as a dungeon, except in the corner, there's a little green leaf, and that's how you know it is a Malignant Tunnel rather than a normal dungeon. When you hover over these dungeons, it will show you that you need a specific Malignant Invoker to clear the outgrowths within it. So there are 3 different Malignant Invokers, just like there are 3 different sockets and 3 different gems. There is a Devious Invoker, a Brutal Invoker, and a Vicious Invoker. All of these need to be crafted. You will have to craft the invokers on your own unless you get one from a randomized drop, which appears to happen throughout the entire world. I've had some drop in cellars, I've had some invokers drop in dungeons, and I've had some invokers drop off of random mobs that I have killed out in the open world. With that said, the easiest way to get these invokers is to simply craft them yourself. You will need Ichor, Malignant Ichor, to craft them, which can also be found inside of the Malignant Tunnels that you will come across. The Ichor can drop off of random mobs inside of these Malignant Tunnels, but the easiest way to get Malignant Ichor in the beginning is going to be by salvaging the new caged hearts that will drop inside of the Malignant Tunnels. Each boss and mini-boss inside of these Malignant Tunnels will drop a Malignant Heart that you click on. Once you click on it, it will respawn that same boss and or mini-boss, and then once you kill that second rendition of this boss, they will drop a caged heart. Some of these caged hearts are very good, and some of them just are not the best. Most of them are going to be level 1 when you're starting out, so you can salvage them. But in order to salvage them, you can't bring them to a blacksmith like you would the rest of your gear. You have to bring them to Cormond's workbenches, and there just so happens to be one of those inside of Kiavashad. Your best bet to collecting these caged hearts and salvaging them in mass quantities is going to be by simply running these Malignant Tunnels over and over and over. It is also worth noting that you cannot fully complete the dungeon and defeat the Malignant Outgrowths unless you have an Invoker at the end of that dungeon. You have to use an Invoker at the end of the dungeon to break open the pustules, which will summon that Malignant boss that will drop a higher quality and higher level caged heart. Yes, it's very confusing, and it does get a little bit confusing at first, but once you kind of understand the mechanics behind it and you do a couple of these dungeons, I assure you it gets much easier to understand. So basically, to give a bulleted list of what you need to do you will need to run these Malignant tunnels to get caged hearts from the mini bosses, use those caged hearts at Cormon's table, and salvage them into these Ichors to create Malignant Invokers. Once you have these Malignant Invokers, you will have to go back to the dungeons that have that specific Malignant Invoker at the end of the dungeon within the pustules, use them on the pustule to summon that new Malignant boss. And that final boss is going to be a bit stronger than the mini bosses and the regular bosses that you fought throughout the tunnel. Not too much, I haven't struggled as of yet, but that boss will be a little bit more difficult, and they will drop a caged heart that corresponds to the invoker that you used. So if you use a devious invoker, that is going to be a devious boss. It is going to drop a devious caged heart. If you use a brutal invoker, it is going to be a brutal boss, and it will drop a brutal caged heart, and so on and so forth. And that's gonna do it for this guide. I know it wasn't super long or extremely in-depth as to every single caged heart or every single malignant heart or everything that you can collect, but I just wanted to give a baseline as to how to collect them, how to make these invokers, because for me it was quite confusing when I first started. So I wanted to be able to explain it in depth so that you can go out and collect these caged hearts with a little less effort than what I had to try to piece together to figure out what to do in order to get these caged hearts. And with that said, as always, if you like the video, then like the video. And if you like my content in general, then please subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!